You think you've made it just because you're comfortable? That's your first mistake. Comfort kills ambition. You're either chasing greatness or dying in mediocrity. In a world full of average, staying hungry is your only edge. If you're settling, you're slipping. The second you get soft, someone out there hungrier than you is taking your spot. This isn't a game, it's war. And in war, only the relentless rise. So buckle up, because this will wake the beast inside you. Hunger is your fuel. It's the one thing you can't buy, borrow, or fake. It doesn't come from motivation videos or pretty quotes. It comes from the pit of your gut, from the raw realization that where you are is nowhere near where you could be. You don't need more talent, you don't need a fancy degree, and you sure as hell don't need luck. You need to wake up every single day with that fire burning inside of you, that obsession to climb higher, push harder, and dominate everything in your path. Hunger isn't a feeling, it's a mindset. It's the refusal to accept average. It's the voice in your head screaming, I'm not done yet. The top 1%, the real killers, the world shakers, they don't lose hunger after the win. They don't get drunk off success. They don't rest on the high. They eat and then they reload. They use the wind as fuel for the next war. Because to them, there is no finish line. There's only the next mountain, the next kill, the next legacy move. That's what separates the best from the rest. Ordinary people work hard until they make it. Extraordinary people never stop, because they know the second you stop being hungry, someone hungrier takes your spot. You've been lied to. You were told to chase balance. You were told to slow down, be grateful, appreciate the little things. And while the sheep play it safe, the lions stay starving. Because they know this, when you're hungry, you're dangerous. When you're hungry, you're alive. When you operate with that burning urgency, that nothing is ever enough attitude, you become unstoppable. You don't need 10 steps to success, you need a reason to go to war every damn day. The question is, what's your reason? What's gonna light that fire so hot that quitting is an option? Because if your dreams don't scare you, if they don't make your palms sweat and your stomach churn, then they're not big enough. You're still playing small. You're still living in your comfort zone where growth goes to die. Get out, go chase the thing that makes people laugh behind your back. Go after the vision so insane it keeps you up at night. That's the dream worth having. That's the life worth building. And when you get there, when you hit that goal, don't slow down, get hungrier, stay obsessed. The world doesn't reward the content, it rewards the relentless. So keep your fire alive, keep that pressure on your neck, refuse to coast. The second you let up, the game changes, and not in your favor. You want to live like the 1%, then suffer like the 1%. Grind like your life depends on it, because it does. Stay hungry, stay dangerous. Never stop feeding the beast inside you. Comfort is a silent killer. It doesn't show up with warning signs, it doesn't crash in with alarms, it creeps in quiet, slow, disguise its peace or rest, or you deserve it. Before you know it, you're soft. You were once hungry, driven, dangerous, but now you hit snooze instead of rising early. You say you'll do it tomorrow instead of executing today. That's how it starts. The grind that once lit a fire under you becomes optional. You start picking the easy path. You start negotiating with your goals. And let me tell you, every time you choose comfort, you're making a deal with failure. You're trading long-term greatness for short-term ease. And guess what? That trade will bankrupt you. You think the world waits for you to rest? You think your competitors hit pause because you're tired? Hell no. While you're lounging, someone's building. While you're relaxing, someone's outworking you. Comfort is a sedative that makes you believe you're still making progress. But you're not. You're just sinking slowly into irrelevance. You're getting past. You're falling behind. And the worst part, you don't even notice. Because comfort numbs you. It robs you of urgency, of hunger, of that edge that made you unstoppable in the first place. The lions don't sleep when they've eaten, they hunt again. Why? Because survival isn't about eating once. It's about staying hungry. It's about staying dangerous. The jungle doesn't care about yesterday's hunt. The world doesn't care about yesterday's wins. You're only as good as your last shot, your last deal, your last decision. You think you've arrived? You think just because you made a little money, got a little attention, or reached a little goal, it's okay to slow down? That's the mindset that kills dreams. The truly great never settle. They never get comfortable. They stay in the game. They raise the bar. When the average man is resting on yesterday's success, the savage is planning his next attack. Because he knows the truth. There is no finish line. There is no I've made it. There is only now. Only the next challenge, only the next mountain to climb. So when you start feeling good, when life starts getting easy, that's your red flag. That's when it's time to push harder, not relax. That's when it's time to disrupt your own routine before the world does it for you. Because comfort will kill your edge. It'll dull your instincts. It'll turn you from a warrior into a wanderer. And by the time you realize what you've lost, it'll be too late. Stay uncomfortable. Stay sharp. Stay obsessed. Because in the game of life and success, the savage survives and the satisfied get slaughtered. Plus chill. Winners don't settle, period. Settling is the quiet resignation of potential. It's waving the white flag before the war is even over. When you say, this is enough, you're not declaring success, you're signing a contract with mediocrity. You're telling the world you've tapped out, even though you've barely scratched the surface of what's possible. And make no mistake, the world will take you at your word. It won't stop you from slowing down. It won't slap you in the face and remind you to keep pushing. It will let you decay unnoticed among the masses who once had potential, but chose comfort instead of conquest. Billionaires didn't stop at their first million. They didn't throw a party, sit back, and admire their bank balance. No, that first million was just proof of concept. It was just the beginning. It was a whisper that said, you can go further. And the great ones listened. They didn't let the thrill of early success seduce them into stillness. They doubled down. They raised the bar. They hunted the next peak. Because for the obsessed, enough is never enough. The fire that fuels them doesn't die with success. It grows hotter. Their goals get bigger. Their standards get higher. They don't chase comfort. They chase domination. Champions don't quit after their first trophy. They don't build a legacy on a single win. One victory is a snapshot, a blip in time, a single breath in the lungs of greatness. And if you rest on that moment, if you hang your identity on past wins, you're already dead in the water. The real champions, they see the first trophy as a stepping stone. They treat it like a receipt, not a reward. It's proof that the process works, and now it's time to repeat, refine, and ramp up. Because the moment you start settling, someone hungrier, someone angrier, someone more obsessed than you is coming to take your place. Settling is not humility. It's not being realistic. It's fear, dressed up in logic. It's the voice that says, be grateful for what you have, when deep down you know you haven't given the world your best yet. Winners understand that gratitude and ambition can coexist. You can be thankful for the present and still ruthless about the future. You can appreciate the journey without ever accepting a finish line. Because when you're truly locked in, when you've tasted the power of high-level execution, settling feels like death. It feels like betrayal of your potential, your purpose, your damn name. So don't settle, not now, not ever. Don't let early success trick you into thinking the work is done. Don't let average people talk you out of your intensity. Stay obsessed, stay unreasonable. Keep showing up like you're still at the bottom, even when you're at the top. Because winners don't settle. They scale, they shock the world, they build empires, and they never, ever stop. Starve your excuses. Kill them. Starve them until they die. From lack of attention, lack of energy, lack of belief. You can feed your goals or feed your excuses, but never both. That's the raw truth. Every time you justify your inaction, every time you say, I can't, I'm tired, I don't have time, you're choosing to feed your excuses and starve your future. You're feeding the part of you that loses. You're handing the steering wheel of your life over to weakness, fear, and mediocrity. Excuses feel good in the short term, but they are poison in disguise. They rob you of execution. They steal your drive. They delay your destiny. And the world doesn't care why you didn't make it. No one hands out trophies for trying. This isn't grade school. This is life. The hungry don't cry about obstacles. They chew them up and spit them out. They don't need permission. They don't need perfect conditions. They make progress with what they've got. While others are waiting for motivation, the relentless are already moving. While others are sitting on the sidelines dreaming, the obsessed are building. Excuses are just dressed up lies. Lies you tell yourself to protect your comfort zone. But comfort is a prison, and excuses are the chains. The minute you start executing, the excuses lose their grip. You begin to realize that all along, it was never the circumstances that held you back. It was you, your mindset, your hesitation, your fear. You want success? Prove it. Not with your words, not with some vision board full of fantasies. Prove it with blood, sweat, late nights, early mornings, and work when no one's watching. Prove it when it hurts. Prove it when you feel like quitting and you keep going anyway. Because that's when it counts. That's when the winners separate from the whiners. You think the people at the top had fewer reasons to quit? Hell no, they had more. But they chose discipline over distraction. They chose action over excuse. They chose execution over entitlement. Excuses are nothing but resistance wearing a mask, and resistance is the enemy of greatness. The moment you starve your excuses, your real self begins to emerge. The version of you that's focused, ruthless, and unstoppable. That version doesn't make excuses, it makes things happen. So the next time your mind tries to justify slacking off, skipping a workout, avoiding that hard conversation, or postponing your dream, catch it, call it out, and kill it on the spot. Starve your excuses until they beg for mercy, and then keep starving them. Because your goals, your legacy, your empire, they don't care about your reasons. They demand results. And the only way you rise is by feeding your purpose and letting every excuse die in the shadows, shut up, and show the world what relentless looks like. Be the execution machine. Be the proof. Stay desperate for growth. Desperation isn't weakness. It's raw, untamed power. It's the fuel that drives men through storms, through blood, through failure after failure, until they break through or die trying. And the truth is, the most dangerous person in any room isn't the one with resources, it's the one who has nothing to lose. That person is feral, that person is focused, that person is willing to do whatever it takes because they burn the ships and there's no way back. If you're not desperate, you're already slipping. Desperation keeps you sharp. It forces you to push limits you didn't know existed. When you're desperate, you don't wait for opportunities, you create them. You don't pray for doors to open, you kick them down. You don't scroll through motivational quotes, you become the damn quote. That's what growth demands. It doesn't ask if you're ready, it demands you. Show up, shut up, and put in the reps when nobody's watching. Comfort makes people soft, but desperation makes people dangerous. You want to become something more? Then get uncomfortable. Get desperate enough that you're sick of your own excuses, sick of your own reflection. That's when the transformation begins. You'll stop pretending. You'll stop playing small. You'll stop surrounding yourself with people who clap for mediocrity and start hunting with those who sharpen each other's claws. When you're desperate for growth, you learn faster. You don't care about looking stupid. You don't care about failing. You care about results. You'll fall 10 times and get up 11, not because it's inspirational, but because you're not done yet. Because you can't be done yet. Because the mission is bigger than your ego, and the stakes are too high to quit. Growth isn't a luxury, it's survival. Evolve or get left behind. That's the law of life. And while the world is full of people who want to grow, most of them will do what it takes. They'll tap out when it gets hard. But not you. Not if you stay desperate. Not if you let that fire in your gut consume everything that tells you to be realistic. You're not here to be average. You're here to dominate, to evolve into a version of yourself that's unrecognizable to the one who started this journey. The hungry man doesn't ask permission, he takes what's his. He doesn't hope for success, he hunts it. He doesn't settle for motivation, he builds discipline. And when things go wrong, because they will, he doesn't cry, he adapts. That's the code, that's the path. You don't rise by waiting for the right time. You rise by staying desperate for growth every damn day. Stay obsessed, stay relentless, stay hungry enough to scare the quit out of your soul. Because your empire isn't built by comfort. It's built by a man who refuses to stop climbing. Keep climbing, even at the top. That's where the real test begins. See, most people chase success like it's a finish line. I think once they hit the goal, make the money, get the house, win the title, they're done. They exhale, they relax. That's where they lose. Because the top isn't the end. It's just the start of a new game with higher stakes. The mountaintop is not your resting place. It's your new battlefield. You worked your ass off to get there. Now work twice as hard to stay there. Because at the top, the air is thin. The pressure is suffocating, and the wolves circling below want your crown. They're hungrier than ever, and they'd kill to be where you are. And guess what? They're watching, waiting for you to get lazy, waiting for you to blink. So no, the work doesn't stop, it multiplies. The discipline must intensify. You have to be more focused, more ruthless, more obsessed than when you started. You think Dan Peña made $100 million and retired to sip cocktails on a beach? Hell no. He went harder, louder. He raised his standards. He raised his expectations. He became more dangerous because he knew real killers never stop. Champions don't play one season and then disappear. Legends build dynasties. They don't take their foot off the gas. They crush it deeper. They reinvent. They dominate again and again until no one even dares compete. And if you're serious about success, if you're not just playing at it, you have to adopt that same mentality. You must be addicted to progress. Every new peak should piss you off, not satisfy you. Because the moment you say, I made it, you start falling. Comfort is the first sign of decline. That's when weakness creeps in, disguised as reward. You don't rest at the top, you reload. You raise hell, you turn the summit into your next starting line. So keep climbing. Build from the top like you're still at the bottom. Wake up every day with that same fire that got you there, but burn it hotter. Let people think you're crazy. Let them say, isn't that enough? You look them dead in the eye and say, it's never enough. Not for me. Because you weren't built to arrive. You were built to ascend again and again and again. Don't just be remembered for the climb. Be remembered for never stopping. Be the name that echoes long after your time. Be the story they tell when they talk about relentless drive, unbreakable mindset, and the refusal to ever settle. Keep climbing. Because that's where empires are built. Not in the climb up, but in the refusal to ever come down. Stay hungry, never settle. The empire you're meant to build won't come from playing it safe or patting yourself on the back. It comes from obsession, from fire, from refusing to be ordinary. Wake up every day and remind yourself, the grind owes you nothing, but you owe it everything.